Welcome back to Long the Latest Hobbies. Today, Games Workshop announced that there are going to be 3 new Battlehost boxes for Middle-earth Strategy Battle Game. So let's take a look and see if those boxes are any good, as well as what that might mean for the future of the game. So the 3 new boxes that we got are for Rohan, Mirkwood, and Dol Guldur. So in case you don't know, or are maybe kind of new to the hobby, the only miniatures that they will ever put in these boxes will be plastic. So that's kind of one of the reasons why that we got kind of the models that we did get in the Mirkwood and Dol Guldur boxes, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's go through them one at a time. So the Rohan box includes Theoden, 24 warriors, and it includes 6 riders. Now these are all the new plastic sculpts. So these just came out, a month or two ago. The warriors just came out like a year and a half ago. This is also the newest Theoden we have at this point. He came out in, I think, 2018 or 17. So he's a new-ish Theoden as well. So it's a lot of miniatures. So it's like, what is that, 32? I think it says on the front of the box. Yeah, 32 miniatures. If you want these miniatures, this is probably going to be priced pretty well. But I will say that in terms of like collecting Rohan, or if you're interested in starting Rohan, this is probably not going to be that great of a pickup, because in Rohan, you're going to want riders. You don't really use foot models really almost ever, with the exception of as dismounts for your riders or for your Royal Guard. This is not really that good of a box, I would say. I would give this box a pass. There's only one list that you could probably use this in, which is Defenders of Helm's Deep. Now, if you're looking at building a Defenders of Helm's Deep list, this is a great box. Defenders of Helm's Deep, you are not allowed to take mounted models at all. So you in a Defenders of Helm's Deep list, you would be taking a whole bunch of foot models. So if you're looking to get a lot of foot models for a Defenders of Helm's Deep list specifically, this is a great box. But if you're looking to make any other type of Rohan list, what I would be doing is picking up just the individual Riders of Rohan box. Royal Guard is also something that's very common in Rohan lists, depending on the specific army list. But Royal Guard, you can also just pick up secondhand. I wouldn't be shocked if we see new plastic Royal Guard in the next 8 to 12 months. But just be aware that Royal Guard is very common in Rohan lists, and there's no Royal Guard in this box. So if I'm rating this, I wouldn't give this like a 3 out of 10. Because there's really only one list that this is good for. And, if we're talking about everything, Theoden is also not that great of a hero. You kind of include him because you have to, but the heroes you really want in Rohan are Aemir and Gamelin, because Gamelin gives a lot of buffs. Theoden is a piece you include because a lot of lists require you to include him. The hero that's included in this box is not that great. Let's take a look at the Mirkwood Battlehost box. So we've got 20 Palace Guards, 20 Mirkwood Rangers, and the hero that they include here is the 2-pack that has Legolas and Tauriel. Legolas and Tauriel are both good. You would want to include them in a Mirkwood list. Mirkwood Rangers are also really good. 20 Palace Guards is a lot. You probably wouldn't ever include 20 Palace Guards in a list unless you were doing like a meme, or unless you would just wanted to spam a bunch of Palace Guards. Still not a bad box by any means. You could build a list that included every single thing in this box and it wouldn't be terrible. I think this box is, let's just say, an 8 out of 10. So they were restricted in how they could build this battle host because there isn't that much plastic that Mirkwood has. And in fact, I think this is all the plastic that Mirkwood has access to. Given the restrictions that they had, I think I would give this an 8 out of 10. Dol Guldur Battle Host. So we've got the new Bolg that just came out last summer. We've got 6 Fell Wargs and 24 Hunter Orcs on foot. So I think this is a really nice box if you're looking to get into like Azog's Hunters. Because in Azog's Hunters, Bolg is really, really good. He's kind of an auto take in any kind of Azog's Hunters or Azog's Legion list. Hunter Orcs are something that you're going to need in any Azog's Hunters or Azog's Legion or Dol Guldur list. You're going to need those. And Wargs are good as well. So I would give this a 9 out of 10. The only other thing I think they could have thrown in would be just Fell Wargs, because of the separated mounts rule, you're going to be missing fell wargs. You can run into situations where your orc gets killed and then you're just left with a separated mount, and you wouldn't have a miniature to represent that. But that's kind of a minor quibble. I think realistically, if you were to buy this box, you would probably just pick up a box of fell wargs as well. Of the three, I would say this is the best one if you're just looking to pick up any of them to start the game. So the way Games Workshop likes to do things is they will make this available after the pre-order is finished for the made-to-order that just went live yesterday. So by my reckoning, that MTO is probably going to end on September 6th or 7th. So if I had to guess, these boxes will probably go on sale in mid to late September. But I wouldn't also be shocked if they pushed it to like early October. I also want to mention what wasn't announced here. Previously, there were 4 battle hosts for sale, which were Mordor, Isengard, Minas Tirith, and Mordor. Now, if I go to the Warhammer web store, only one of those is currently up for sale or even exists in the web store, which is Isengard. Now, the Rohan one was taken off the web store a long time ago, and we know that that one is getting replaced by this one. The Mordor and Minas Tirith one are no longer on the web store, and they're not listed as sold out. If something is going to be replaced soon, it will list as sold out, but the fact that they're completely gone off the web store tells me that those battle hosts are completely gone. To me, that is a strong indicator that we could be getting new Mordor miniatures and possibly new Minas Tirith miniatures soon. Now, when is soon? Well, hopefully by the end of the year. Maybe they'll be announced by the end of the year and then we'll actually get them next year. Now I'm going to say that's the most likely scenario. I think they'll be announced in like October, November, and then we'll actually get them in January. That's the timeline we're going to be looking at right now, because Games Workshop always likes to keep these pipelines. But just before new Rohan miniatures were released, the Battlehost went off sale, and it's very unlikely that Rohan is going to be the only range that was refreshed. And in fact, they've already refreshed the Dunland range, even though that's not really a core range, and that wasn't a range that had battle hosts. I think what was not announced here is just as important as what was announced. I think maybe I'm just indulging in copium, I fully admit that, but I do think that this article is kind of shadow announcing that we're going to be getting new Mordor and or new Minas Tirith with it announced. Maybe they might not be for sale, but I think at minimum we'll see an announcement for them by the end of the year. That's kind of where I'm leaning now. What were your thoughts? First of all, what are your thoughts on getting new Mordor and Minas Tirith? What are your thoughts on these battle hosts? Are you going to be picking any of these up? Which one is your favorite? Do you think these are good deals? Do you think they're not good deals? Are these for armies you already have? Me personally, I already have everything in this Rohan box, so I'm not going to be getting it. And even if I didn't, I wouldn't be getting it anyway. I might pick up the Dol Guldur Battle Host at some point just because I think it is actually a good deal. I don't have anything in that box, and I've been wanting to start like an Azog's Hunters army for a while, and this is like a good excuse to pick it up. The Mirkwood Battle Host box, I think is like an alright deal. It has like everything you need to start the core of a Mirkwood army. You would still need a few more items after you pick up that box, so you would need troops, but this box is a good way to get started at least. Thank you very much for watching this video. I would very much appreciate it if you smash that like and subscribe button on the way out. But most importantly, don't forget to have a great day. Take care.